the super luxury car segment. 2023 was a year of milestones for luxury car maker Lamborghini. Not only did the company celebrate its 60th anniversary, it also set a record of delivering more than 10,000 cars in a single year. I caught up with the company's global CEO, Stephen Winkleman, and I began by asking him about the company's outlook for 2024. Let's listen in.
It's very early now to talk about growth in 2024. We would not have done a record year last year if we would not have a rock-solid order bank for the year 2024 and even further than that. So the outlook at the end was very positive, and now it's too early to make a forecast. We are still going strong. We have a lot on our plate this year. Besides, let's say, having a solid order bank, we will have two new cars presented this year, first the Urus and then the Huracan follow later in the year. So it's a very eventful year and a very important year for automobile.
All right, so you're saying two new models which you will be bringing out in the market. Let me also ask you, if you were to break down your growth, which were the regions contributing the highest growth for the brand?
We have a pretty equal distributions. We have three regions. One is the Americas, then the other one is Europe and Middle East and Africa, and then the Asia-Pacific region, which is including for sure India. So there we have a pretty balanced situation. The biggest market by far for us is the US, but then we have very important markets also in Europe, like the UK, Germany, Italy. We have important markets in Asia, like Korea, Japan, and also China for sure. And India is a promise, a big promise for the future. And I hope that this will be more than we are having today in the future.
So what's the global order book like right now for Lamborghini, and how much of that is coming from India?
In India is our market number 14 in terms of ranking, but it's not about, let's say, the number of customers we have in a market, but it's about every single customer. So we are way into the year 25 with our order bank. This is a very good sign, and this is valid also for the Indian market. For India in general, it's important also to say that we have a lot of Indian citizens which are living abroad, so they're not only buying here. They have second homes in the UK, they have second homes in the US, but also in Southeast Asia or in Dubai. So it's one of the countries which has citizens which are buying very much also outside the country.
Right. So if you speak about Indians as a community, how big would they be as a group among the buyers of Lamborghini worldwide?
This is difficult to say because we don't have all the nationalities, but for sure we see India is a growing market for the future. It's still, in terms of the automotive luxury, still a market which is only about 1,000 cars, and we have more than 100, so it's a very good share. We're happy about that.
Right. Globally, we're now seeing a slowdown in electric vehicle sales. The likes of GM, the likes of Ford, Renault, they've all cut EV forecasts, saying that the growth has not been as fast as we had predicted. There is oversupply in the market, and the customers are somewhat showing a lukewarm response. What would be your view on what's slowing down the EV race right now?
One is there were lots of subsidies which were reduced from the countries, but also, let's say, there are some hurdles which are important. One is the price of the car, which is not something which is affecting Lamborghini for sure. But if we speak about pure electric cars, then it's the pricing, which is one of the things. It's the range of the cars, it's the infrastructure, and the charging time. These are the major, let's say, things which need to be improved for the future. And I'm convinced that every car manufacturer is on the right way in this sense. Sometimes the legislation is faster than the technology, and this is something we have to work on. But I think that all the big OEMs have moved into electrification, also in terms of platform investments. So this is going to be maybe a bit slower than expected, but it will come.
Right. But would you even say now that electrification is the way forward? that is where the entire automobile industry is moving? Or in future, we are going to see a mix of technology operations functioning? Is it right to put all your money in electric technology?
It depends a lot on the legislator. If you ask zero-emission vehicles and you say this can only be done with batteries, there is no alternative. The alternative could be synthetic fuel, but synthetic fuel will continue to pollute because it's not only about CO2, it's also about NOx, all the small particles. So we have around the globe 17 different legislations in this sense. But if you want to go to zero emissions, then electrification is the only way. It's clear that we have a huge car park, which will be hundreds of millions also after 35, which will be only ICE cars. So there will be, or there could be, a good opportunity if there is the will to produce synthetic fuels. But it's a matter of cost, it's a matter of logistics, it's a matter of distribution. No, it's a matter of capillarity at the end of the day. So the combination, as you said, is very important the time being. But if the legislator worldwide is asking for zero, then it's a different type of engagement.
But as we've seen in Germany, and also Germany has put a pause on its subsidy program. China has reduced the subsidies. Do you think this gives a reality check to the industry and to governments as well? When you remove subsidies, where do things stand?
But as I said, there are some hurdles which need to be bypassed, and sometimes the legislator is faster than the technology can deliver. And this is what I said before. I think that it's normal that in such a dramatic change or such a revolutionary change for the automotive industry, there are a bit of hiccups. And for example, we are living in Europe, and the European Union has said that they want to come back and speak again about the rules up to 35 by the end of 26. So we have to wait what is coming. But it's clear that if we want to have sustainability, it's not stopping at the automotive industry. It's something which is now a matter for everybody and for every type of industry. And therefore also Lamborghini has said that we have a clear strategy. The first step is to hybridize all the lineup. And the second step is by 2030, this is what we have announced, we will reduce the CO2 emissions on every car produced by 40%, which is including all the value chain. We're talking about logistics, we're talking about our suppliers, and we're also talking about our factory. So this is a clear and very strong commitment about the future.
Right. How big, how important is a priority India for you? This is your 5th visit to India. How much growth are you expecting from the Indian market in future?
I'm expecting always a lot, but this is not...
In terms of numbers, percentages?
But, you know, it's, as I said, it's not so important how many we have in a certain market. I think that India is in a good phase to have a continuous growth. And we are here, so we will be part of this growth.
And finally, what is the one thing that Lamborghini is going to invest heavily in over the next few years? What is the number one big priority that you have as you run the company into the future at a time globally there is a debate on energy transition?
This is exactly the point. Now, for us, even more than others, the road to electrification is the biggest challenge, but we are preparing ourselves. We are successful with the first step, and we need to be, we have still 5 or 6 years also to adapt, as you said. No, whatever the governments are going to say, we have a new lineup coming, and therefore we have more flexibility than other manufacturers also to adjust if different things are coming up.
Electrification is the biggest challenge for automakers, including Lamborghini, and legislation, subsidies, nature of charging infrastructure, and pricing of electric cars is something that will determine the transition to electric vehicles from ICE. That's a word coming in from Lamborghini's global CEO. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Center. More news and updates coming up. Don't go anywhere.